thatmovieguyUK.
Well, hello, all 277 subscribers of this channel. Currently, probably it's 276 by now after I said that, but it's fine. Apologies for any content delay. I've had a very busy July. I was actually at an academic conference about Stanley Kubrick in Holland, so I wasn't actually in the country, and July is a very busy month in the summer, and yeah, so apologies. But during my travels, I was lucky enough to see Alex Ross Perry's latest film, Her Smell, which still doesn't have a UK release date. When it comes to Alex Ross Perry, I do think he's a very interesting indie filmmaker. He does tend to create films that not everybody discusses, but within a cinephile kind of circle, people discuss him. And it's always nice to have some directors that do this, and you know, he does have big-ish star names in his movies, Elisabeth Moss being one of them, and she's the star of this film. Her Smell is set in 5 parts, and it is the story of a self-destructive punk rocker as she struggles with sobriety and is trying to recapture her creative inspiration that made her band so successful. Her Smell is toxic, repugnant, captivating, compelling. It is a collective self-destructive journey that we go on, and with a bit of healing. I must say this film would be nothing without Elisabeth Moss in the lead role. She truly embodies this broken artist so well. I think her ways that she goes from a very dark comedic segment to a very serious motif, it is astounding to see, and I do think that Alex Ross Perry gets the best out of Moss. And I've been a big fan of Elisabeth Moss ever since I watched Mad Men, which I consider one of the greatest TV shows ever made. She is an astounding actress, and I feel like at times she's not well utilized in the world of cinema, but Ross Perry always goes back to her, and it feels like a real journey, and you feel like she is a real punk rocker. She took 3 months out before making this one to learn how to play the guitar and everything. She has a lot of dedication to her craft, but there is a real power and a real rawness to this performance that I will just not forget in a hurry. This is as good as I would say as Ethan Hawke in First Reformed last year. That's that good of a performance I think it is. Alex Ross Perry really goes for this guerrilla candid kind of feel when it comes to Her Smell. There is a lot more feeling. It feels truly real in some ways. There is a lot of heavy, lengthy dialogue that only people that know each other would go down that road and discuss. Like I said, it is a lot funnier than you think, and I find sometimes even the conversation they have a bit harsh, and there's a couple of conversations about Elisabeth Moss' daughter in this film, which I just couldn't believe what was being said. It's unreal, but at the same time, I've never gotten to this stage of self-destructiveness that I would say these things, but still, it's still a shocker, and this is the joy of Ross Perry. He does create very interesting dialogue and a very interesting narrative. What else is interesting about the way the film is shot is there's a lot of flair to it. There's a lot of interesting colours coming out, especially when the performances are on. The lights are it just gives it that dreamlike sequence, and then you go to this like very dark room and there's a lot more reality to what you see, and you feel like you're in the underbelly of hell with them, and just watching this character just wither away and just become a shadow of their former selves. There's the very interesting parallels throughout the whole film, and I think that's what's good. But when it comes to the segments of the film, I must say it doesn't always work. The length of some of the segments are a bit too long, and you do lose some kind of pull and that stick that keeps you into the film. You kind of wither away at times, and it doesn't necessarily always work, but once something dramatic or once something changes the motive of the conversation, it actually becomes a lot more interesting again. But this is a part and parcel of cinema now. You can't always be 100% engaged into the film, and I think that's why Ross Perry gets it to work. You have those moments, but still, it does work pretty well. But obviously talking about Elisabeth Moss, I think as a collective of a cast, I think Dan Stevens is a very good standout performance here. He is the ex-partner, and he is the father of their child. And I think it's very similar to Stacey Martin's performance in Vox Lux, where you don't feel the jealousy, but you feel that there's a separation between such close characters at one point. But his dialogue with Moss actually feels very real, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it. I think it's a very good Dan Stevens performance. Agnes Dean, again, I don't see her much in film, but I do like her when she's in the film. I think she's a very good way of an entry point for us. Like, she's our like view into kind of what Elisabeth Moss is up to at times, and I think she's a good side character in a way, but she's not very well utilized. Same as maybe Cara Delevingne, who's another of the big names. You have so many famous names in this film, but they're not really in it that much. But obviously, it's a character of one person. We understand this, but still, it's intriguing to see that Ross Perry not really fleshing out characters. But regardless, it's just a minor flaw. But overall, Her Smell is a very interesting film. One of the best films I've seen of 2019, no doubt. It is a entry into hell of a human being, and Elisabeth Moss is stellar. I would highly recommend you seeing this film whenever you can. It's out in some countries in Europe right now. UK, I don't know. I honestly don't know. It's very difficult to keep track of things at the moment. We're still waiting for a Parasite date, for God's sakes. Even The Lighthouse, I have no clue what's going on. It's just so slow churning out these indie films. I don't even think that we're going to see The Beach Bum release in the UK. I don't know. Anyway, there are more reviews to come. Obviously, Venice Film Festival is coming up, and I am still trying to figure out what the hell I'm going to go watch. It's a very interesting lineup this year, so more information will come, and obviously more reviews to come again. Apologies for the delay, but if you are interested in subscribing, please do subscribe. Everything's down there. Like, dislike, whatever. Send comments, whatever you like. Just go for it. And obviously, as we say on this channel, Diolch, danko, obrigado, merci beaucoup, arigato, dankeschön, bitteschön, all the shits. And obviously, never change.